Every week it feels like a year since I've been with you. Every week it is a perplexing situation that I find myself in, trying to delicately balance the setup of the microphone, the crispness of the image, and the level of my voice. It depends on who's near me, what's happening, and today, to set the scene, to get you invested emotionally, physically, sexually, intellectually, there has been a beeping, a quiet, traumatizing, just incessant beeping happening outside of my window, and someone is there crouched in front of it trying to fix it, and has been for the better part of 2 hours. So am I at the highest level of exposure to the beeping? No. I'd say the ticking time bomb in front of that man's face who's being paid to try to fix the situation is probably a little more stressed than me, but it is torturesome just hearing beep, beep, high-pitched, unknown what source. For a while, I kept checking the fridge, thinking I've broken the fridge at some stranger's house. So that's just the baseline. The irony that I am furious when I was coming in here hot to talk to you about my perfect day, my dream day, because I've spent the last week with a summer cold. We will unpack that. I also then yesterday experienced, God, my white whale, my almost perfect day of my life. It was interrupted a couple of times, but I was close, god damn it. So let's talk about that. I also want to discuss the movie Freakier Friday. I was going to say Freaky Friday, Freakier Friday. So let's just get the fuck into those three things. Breathe in. Welcome to What the Fuchs with Jess Fuchs. Now breathe out. And scream. Because here's what's pissed Jess off this week. I went and took myself on a small day date yesterday because I had nothing on the cards and I was on the back end of a summer cold. Now, the summer cold is one that is disgusting because it is hot, because there is no place for you in this space. How did I get said cold? Well, I ran around Edinburgh for 5 days, sleeping from 3:30 a.m. till about 9 a.m. I also had a joint which was rolled by a man who, seems like he probably has a cold 365. But desperate times call for desperate measures, and he was a huge stoner. So when he gave me that joint and I sucked it dry, I didn't really think about the impact of low immune system since you haven't been sleeping, high stress since you're running around a city that the weather changes every 10 seconds, and now you're getting yourself baked like a little potato, which you're allergic to. On the night that I was high, I went from the dorm room I was staying in to go to the kitchen to fill up my water bottle, and the doors in this place need to be shut or they start making a siren sound. Now, I don't realize that it is ajar the tiniest bit. I mean, the tiniest bit. I settle into my bed, I'm spooning my big blue water bottle, and alas, I just hear, wow! Close the door. Wow, close the door. Starts screaming at 2 a.m. and I, baked and happy, warm and safe in my rickety little bed, leap out and run to the door, and I shut the door. Now, in my mind, that took 45 minutes for all of that to happen and unpack. The next day, I speak to one of my friends who's staying in the room next to me with her boyfriend, and we were sitting around, and they were like, and I said to them, I said, so we all heard the alarm, right? Like, I feel crazy. And they were like, yeah. And then we just heard you go, Jesus Christ. And I was like, God, that lasted 45 years, that whole situation. And they were like, it literally was 1 second. I was like, fair play. So I then returned to London from Edinburgh, and I promptly had a 72-hour cold. I'm still a little residual. If you're used to my dulcet tones, they might sound just a smidge. I can't tell if it's like, is it a bit more flat? Is it a bit more like, meow? Is it a bit more, it almost sounds a bit like underwater, the tone. I don't know. But there is something just utterly feral about having a summer cold in a country that does not have aircon. I don't know why, and I am yet to get to the bottom of it. And everyone I speak to, when I go, there's no aircon in this country, right? And they go, I know, isn't it crazy? Take me to your leader. I want to know why. No one seems to be bothered. It's either so freezing fucking cold because I'm in a comedy club or a place that actually has infrastructure and then I'm happy as a fucking clam, or it is clammy. And how the hell is happy as a clam and clammy the same kind of word, yet on opposite sides of the spectrum? So I've just been sweating my way through the mattress that is someone else's. And I'm almost like, yeah, I've got a lot of layers between me and your mattress, but you're coming back and living on this mattress that I have soiled with my summer cold. So I've been airing this place out. The fresh air in this place is good. I like the idea that I'm breathing the same kind of fresh countryside air as Jane Austen once did. I'd also been in comms with my family. Now, what's fascinating about the update from the Fuchs side of the pond is all of them had a cold. So perhaps it was just our bodies tethered together indefinitely that I had a solidarity cold, because do I think that stoner boys, I think they take pride in rolling a good joint for someone and not in giving them influenza A. So it's anyone's guess, but I think my body just knew that every single member of my family had a flu, and so it thought, haha, you are genetically linked to these people. We will knock you down a peg like they have been. So I too was sick. Now, interestingly, and this is not something we will discuss at length because who has the bother or the time, but my sister then calls me when I'm kind of mid-hallucination flu and tells me that she has been hospitalized because her water broke. Now, she's pregnant with twins. I've discussed before. Pregnant with twins. She was 34 or 35 weeks. She still had a few more weeks to go, but with twins, sometimes, the pressure of those two big old sacks is just ripping a hole through your pussy, and the girls decided it was time to get out. So then she called me in my morning time, was in the hospital. I was like, okay, great. And we thought maybe it would be weeks before she might have given birth, because sometimes people's water can break and then it takes days, weeks, whatever. Now, let me tell you what, that night I go to have dinner. I have a set-up dinner situation, which we'll talk about in a second, with my mum's friend, whatever. I have dinner with them. I'm at dinner. All of a sudden, notification. The girls have arrived. I say, what girls? Just a couple hours later, maybe 12 hours later, the children had beckoned. It is so weird when you are a single person just sent, and I don't mean single sexually, I mean single like one person who's sent into like a family dynamic, and you're like, I don't really know any of you, but I'm here to make small talk with you and your harem of sons. I don't know if harem can be used like that when you're referring to like a group of anyone. Like if I walked up to a group of people who I know one person, I go, this is your harem of friends, is that fair? I don't know, and I don't want to Google because my phone is over there, and I'm not interested today. I'm just interested in powering forward. We have limited battery, and we have to make an impact and quick, because I also have a Jack the Ripper tour that's burning a hole in my email, and I am gagged red raw to get onto that situation, because the one I picked has night vision where they project images on the wall. I mean, God damn, does that sound fucking glorious. So anyway, I go to this dinner. I get a text message from my mum saying, the girls have arrived. I say, which girls? I said, who? Because I know it's not my nieces, because those bitches still had a few more days to cook. One came out red raw like a little chicken. I was discussing with a friend how people put photos and videos up of their newborns, and I'm like, it's the most beautiful thing ever. I'm like, your baby looks disgusting and fresh out the womb. It's not cute yet. Like, let it puff up. You know when you get a new mattress and you gotta let it unfurl or whatever, or when you get something that's in its packaging and it's like vacuum sealed, it's like those babies, that's what they look like for the first 6 months. Let it cook a little before you fucking put it online like that. Not fair. So I want to do a photo shoot where I buy a chicken from the shop, a raw chicken, and then take photos of it lying on my chest, because that's what that looks like to all of us non-baby having people. Anyway, so I did the dinner. Now, I want to say about dinner is, here's my thing. I get that. Well, I both identify as young and immature and poor and have nothing to my name. But at the same time, I am like a grown-up. Like I am capable of of just doing a couple things. Not much, so I don't want to get your hopes up. But you know, when you get invited somewhere and then they go like, and you're like, oh my God, can't wait. Thanks so much for having me. What can I bring? And you say nothing. The issue with saying nothing to bring to your home when you are about to have me over is I am going to bring something. It is incredibly rude to roll up with nothing. But now what we have is a situation where I'm spending more money on flowers or wine or some other thing than had you said, hey, can you just bring strawberries? Had you just said to me, can you bring a couple of strawberries for dessert? Yes, and that was going to cost me £15. But now I'm looking for flowers or wine, and you can't bring an £8 bottle of wine to a place, and the flowers for like anything less than £20 in this fucking country look like they've been picked out of a meadow that dogs piss on. So now I'm roaming around Hampstead Heath like Ariana Grande, trying to find a goddamn pair of flowers that don't look disgusting. I buy the flowers, I'm sweaty. I come home, I got a shower. I put the flowers in some water because, hey, it's a 30-degree day in this shithole. Then I have to go on the train for 45 minutes in the heat in a packed out subway car, and the flowers look disgusting. I spent £40 on these and they look revolting. I get there and then I apologize for the flowers, which then, you know what, a woman who gets flowers and is told I'm sorry they got wilted in the heat of the tube has to now do the polite thing. Oh my God, they're beautiful. Don't oversell it, hun. We know what they are. Just say what it is. These flowers look wet and damp and soggy, as do I. Where is your bathroom? Left the dinner, went home. Okay, so that's that. And I don't know, that came up for whatever reason. But now I want to jump back into the summer cold. So I was in solidarity having my summer cold with my family. They are all fine now. My sister has 2 new children. I don't know. That is just the reality. I will meet the girls in January, so they will be a little more solid because right now they are literally spineless little wet red chickens. And, you know, I think the thing with that is the kind of thing only a mother can love. Like, to me, I look at those and I just go, oh, call me when they can talk. I don't really know what to do with that. But anyway, that's that. Congratulations to her and her extended family, which includes me. So now, on to another point. So I wanted to discuss this week, I almost had the perfect day. And I want to discuss Freakier Friday, the movie, the film, the classic, the legacy sequel, if you will. I want to talk about my perfect day, which we'll maybe get into as it ties in beautifully, as it kind of snakes around the idea of Freakier Friday. Now, I have discussed this before. Freakier Friday fits into a category of films that I think will be heavily criticized, although I haven't looked this up, haven't done my research. Heavily criticized, not because of it per se, but because people like to shit on like big Hollywood movies that are just pure fun. And my thing with that, as I've discussed in the past many moons ago, is I bought a ticket to a movie that I wanted to just enjoy. It does not need to change my opinion on anything. It doesn't need to shape me to my core. It did just that. It gave me a good time. 90 minutes. Oh God, 90 minutes in and out. I don't want to see a 3-hour movie. Boring. Yes, I would sit on TikTok for 6 hours and scroll, but those are mini movies, and my brain is being flooded with dopamine. For some reason, I don't think a 3-hour film, I start getting bed sores in these chairs, even though they're so fucking comfortable. So I just want to say, Freakier Friday to me was fabulous because it did exactly what I wanted. It was fun, it was silly, it had some of the great tropes from the original Freaky Friday, but then it had like a little bit of a plot difference, fine, whatever. But how many times can you really do a movie where the whole thing is you have to understand me to understand you to understand me to switch bodies back? I mean, there's really only so many ways you can squish that message time and time again and massage it to be something different. I should have watched Freaky Friday in the lead up, but Freakier Friday coming onto my plate was kind of spur of the moment, which is part of my perfect day. Now, I have been tossing over, mulling up, mulling. Maybe mulling is just, you just mull. Maybe one just mulls. I have been mulling over. There we go, found it. I have been mulling over since leaving the cinema. Who would I Freaky Friday with? There's many ways you can pose this question to yourself. Are you Freaky Fridaying with someone that you don't understand in order to gain better understanding, or is it a curiosity thing? Because sometimes I have had the thought, I would love to just be in a man's body, just to know what a penis kind of feels like. Is it standing up to pee? The wind changes, it gets hard. I just want to have a little bit more understanding. But that's kind of a generic understanding of men, period. Then there's another part of me that I thought, if I was going to Freaky Friday, in case someone doesn't know what Freaky Friday is, perhaps for the couple of you who don't, it's a movie with Lindsay Lohan and, God, I never remember her name, but she's so funny, the mum. Fuck you, I don't want to Google it. Lindsay Lohan, I'm going to have to. And as soon as I see it, I'm going to be like, you stupid bitch. This is the problem. Jamie Lee Curtis, come on, girl, you know better than that. It's with Jamie Lee Curtis, and the two of them were great. Jamie Lee Curtis did a lot of physical comedy in this second one that I thought was amazing. I don't remember from the first one if she also did that. Anyway, they, by mistake, end up switching bodies, mother and daughter, and then they have to come to greater understanding about themselves, and then they get to be themselves again. But they really come to love and expect and understand and respect each other through the first film. Second film, no different, honey. The added difference is there's a couple kids involved. Fine. So now, would I want to switch with someone who I have no understanding of? Great question. Or am I switching with someone who, do I switch with my sister's child, the newest born one, the small one? Because what I want to know is, how do babies' brains work? But do you actually get a sense of how their brains work? Is it like their brain is split with your brain? Is that how you Freaky Friday with someone's body? I would love to know the technical kind of scientific side of things. I have no idea how it works. I also wonder if it's ever actually happened, because if someone came forward and said, I Freaky Friday'd with my best friend over here, the problem with that is we'd go, you're fucking crazy. And this is the problem with modern times. Even if someone came forward and said, I am a god, we'd go, yeah, right. Back in the day, Jesus comes forward, he says he's a god, no worries. People start following. I think now we have too much mental health concern, too much mental health awareness. Half of the people locked up in an insane asylum, if that's even what you still call them, think that they're Jesus. And maybe one of them is. This is the problem with our generation, caring about therapy. If I went to my therapist and I said, I'm telling you, God has picked me. I have a message. Here's my clear message. Here is my brochure of information. Here are my tablets, my modern day tablets. Perhaps it is on a tablet. Perhaps it is on an iPad, a modern, more chic version of what Jesus was rocking with. I'd be locked up. So how does one even start a new religion these days? We've passed the time. And you hate to see it. So I don't know who I'd Freaky Friday with. I was really tossing it up. There's a part of me that wants to say Freaky Friday with the baby to just get a vibe. Plus, oh God, they just lay there. They get a feeding tube, they get a breathing tube, they get their heart rate monitored, their skin is warm, they get a damp cloth over the top of their carrier so that they can just sleep. Not a bad life. But really, the inspiration there is to actually know what the vibe is, what their brain is doing. So maybe that's not really who I'd Freaky Friday with. Okay, so maybe just a generic man I Freaky Friday with. Maybe the baby I Freaky Friday with. I think really I don't want a Freaky Friday unless I get split brain, some of theirs, some of mine. Because I think it is more so for me, the curiosity of figuring out, do I think normally or not? Do you think normally like me? Am I normal? It's hard to say. You'll never really know. But I did think the film was amazing, and I hope it has been reviewed well, and I would love to know if any of you have seen it yet, because I think it was done really well. And I think that the criticism that a lot of these movies get is not fair. If you are telling me you want to make some amazing movie, if you are pitching a movie that is like supposed to be like nothing you've ever seen before, then rip the shit out of that. But if you are making me a classic rom-com or a buddy comedy, whatever. We're all just looking to escape. And that's what these films are doing. And have you escaped? Did you only touch your phone twice instead of 75 times? Then the film did what it advertised. So I was really happy with Freaky Friday. Now, Freaky Friday was a piece, a small, beautiful ray of sun beating down on my face in a almost perfect day. I was also thinking I was laying in bed yesterday and I thought, what is my perfect day? Because yesterday I was just at the tail end of my cold and I thought, you have one day, nothing on. I had absolutely nothing on. So I thought this will come in soon. And I thought, what is your perfect day? Now, to me, perfect day is such. Wake up without an alarm. Stunning. Eat some sort of food. Now, I was tossing up, would it be food that I make? No. I think it would be like nice eggs or I would even be so bold as to say like a leftover slice of pizza, cold pizza. I'm fine with that. You know what I mean? Just something good, something simple. Doesn't need to be crazy, but I do like an eggs and mushroom situation. Like that might be favorite breakfast. Then I go to an area that has thrift shops. Now this could be a market. Now this could be a street of thrift shops. I just know that I'm an absolute slut whore, get wet for, fall off my seat for little shops with trinkets and thrift shops and things. But it needs to be busy with some people. Not too many. Just enough that I can, if I want to engage socially, I can. But I don't have to. Maybe just a kind smile to a stranger that we both go to touch the same thing. I see she's thin and I see the piece of fabric is small, so I let her have it. And I say that would look good on you. I give her a compliment. She smiles. She tells me she likes my shoes. Whatever. Just a cute little interaction. I maybe purchase a couple things, but my perfect day doesn't include consumerism necessarily. I only want to buy something that I think is standout, beautiful, one of a kind. So I'm roaming around, minding my own business. The weather, I'm wearing maybe a cardigan or a light leather jacket, pleather as well. Depends what looks best. I don't want to be sweating at any point in my day. Not at any point. I could go up 1,000 steps. Don't want to sweat. It's the perfect day. Now, if you're thinking the angle looks different suddenly, yeah, the camera died. I was mid-describing a perfect day and the camera died. The audacity for this technology to say, hey, we see that you're trying to live your best life emotionally and manifest strong things for yourself. And no, we don't want that. We don't care for that. I have one thing I want to say before I dip back into my best day, because I've been sitting for 10 minutes and I have forgotten where I was up to. But what I want to say is I was recommended a book after a small breakdown. A small breakdown because I was like, what am I doing with my life, my career, blah, blah, blah. We all have these moments for whatever your thing is. Mine was, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I used to have these big goals, these things that were so certain. And then slowly as you start achieving things, and not even the things that were the big goals, but rather the things where you're like, you know, when you're young and you have these faraway goals, they can be far away and you hold on to them and you're excited by them because you know what you're doing. You're grafting. You're working hard at the small, minute pieces that make the puzzle. For example, when I was young and I started comedy, I would black out on stage. I don't mean like a cute ha ha ha, like whatever. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm sweating a bit. I mean blackout, full blown black in, black out. Come to after getting off stage. People would be like, that was funny. I said, what did I say? Who knows in those dark hours when I was just, God knows where, disassociating from my body what I was saying or doing on stage. So the better half of my career has been just trying to be really present and in your body and all zen about that shit. And then in the last couple of years, I've been able to actually be present while on stage, actually be mindful of what I'm doing, be in control, know what I'm doing when I'm doing crowd work and whatever. And so now the actual skill set has been honed. But alas, what does one do once the skill set is honed? Well, actually, we reflect on the big, faraway dreams that once were the anchor points to your career, and we wonder, how the hell do we actually achieve those now? What are the actual steps to achieve that? So as I have been slowly mentally rotting in my own head, crumbling, wondering what the fuck I'm supposed to do with my life, I have just been steadily on suicide watch, having just a 3 out of 10 panic attack for the better half of a couple months. And I was talking to a friend in Edinburgh and she suggested a book. And the book is called, I will find it in a second, but basically the idea of the book, it was written in the 1920s by this housewife, which we love. And it's kind of funny because it became this whole big, like, kind of sensation. It's a really popular book. And the fact that people just used to think like women couldn't do anything, meanwhile wrote this like profound book. So she goes, listen, it's got a little bit of religion in it, but the message is good and it makes sense and it's really wise and whatever. I said, no worries. Now, I then refer this book before I read it onto another friend. And then at night, I settle in with my bloody Kindle. I've paid my $3.99 for this book, this 1920s housewife book. And the first sentence is like, and Jesus Christ was our Savior and our Lord. And he said in Psalm 25, 35, 99, and I thought, uh-oh. I've recommended a Jesus book, a really heavy, mind you, Jesus book to someone without reading it myself. Anyway, I read it, and the whole thing of the book is like trying to teach you about positivity and manifesting and thinking and really recognizing the power of your mind in creating like the perfect situation. Like if you constantly think about the negative things, if you constantly plan for the negative things, well, then they happen, honey, because your brain is so strong and the world, you're attracting everything. And it's like, do I necessarily believe all of this? I don't know. It feels a bit hoo-ha-y, but at the same time, if you can make your thoughts more positive, which actually impacts your day-to-day life, even if it's just in the sense of like positivity radiating in and out of you, even if things aren't necessarily attracted to you with that said positivity, at the very least, if it's just in you and you feel better, then that's great. That's great. And if the world happens to work in that woohoo way, that if you manifest and you think and you think and you think enough, those things come to you, then hey, that's an added fucking bonus as far as I'm concerned. That's your Christmas bonus you get in December. So anyway, the Jesus book, I have been slowly making my way through it, but I'm trying to be, hate to say it, conscious of it. How cringe. Cringe culture. Ew. No, but I don't really care about cringe culture, and we will talk about that another time. I'm still formulating my opinions and ideas around cringe culture because I myself am anti it, but I want to have enough to say that I want to deep dive in on it as a topic and the culture, and I'm trying to understand it a bit better. So, point is, let's table that. Let's bookmark that. Let's put that on the burner, on the simmer. We'll talk about that another episode. So anyway, the point is, I was mid-manifesting with you. I was mid-telling you what I would do on my perfect day, and alas, we get cut off at the knees. Something to think about. What's that about? I don't know who's controlling that. Maybe Jesus Christ from the book. Anyone's guess. Anyway, we'll get back into the perfect day now. I may be repeating myself because I do not remember a lick of what I was saying. But basically, I had woken up. I know I had told you that. We'd discussed what I'd eat for breakfast. I know I'd discussed that. We walk around some shops. Yes, now I'm remembering. Sense of memory coming back to me. I see a thin woman. We both like the same thing. It looks better on her because she's small. That's okay. I get the cool stuff that she can't fit into. Well, she can. She would just put a belt on it. And isn't that the fun of all the thin girls wanting oversized stuff now? That's kind of cool. Hey. A well-trodden discussion, a well-trodden topic that many people have discussed online. We don't need to get into that. The whole, like, stop letting thin girls buy XXL. Not my problem. Anyway, so I'm mulling around. And then I would go see a film. Now, what sort of film? Anything rom-com, anything good. It doesn't even have to be amazing. It can just be a fun rom-com. I love movie popcorn. I love sitting in a dim, cold room. I love watching big people on a big screen fall in love. Ideally, you want it to be like an amazing rom-com. Or I would even, watch something I've seen 100 times, but just on a screen. Emily in Paris. I'd watch that up on a big screen. No worries. We finished that. The sun is setting. Not set. I want there to still be a little bit of beautiful natural light, a little bit of an orange hue to the world, if you will. I'm roaming around a cute little area. It's bustling. People are out on dates. There's fairy lights that are kissing the walls of small restaurants that are niche and are owned by an actual Italian man making fresh pizza and pasta. That's what I want. You roam down a semi-busy street, cobblestone maybe. I don't roll an ankle. It's my perfect day. And then I go and do, the Jack the Ripper tour is on the brain because I'm doing that tonight. So perhaps we do some sort of tour. I would take the catacombs tour that I did, or the ghost tour that I did in Paris. I would take a kind of Jack the Ripper style tour, something that is happening at night that's a little bit scary but got history in the bones of it. Quite literally bones. I want there to be bones on the street. And then we finish that. It's maybe 9:30, 10. I come home. I have a perfect shower. The shower head works. It comes out nice and firm. Not too firm that it hurts, but it's the perfect temperature. I like it a little bit cold, so it cools me down. I wash my hair. The hair, magically, I step out. I put it in a towel. I dry it naturally. It's dry immediately. I'm not going to bed with wet hair. That gives me an itchy scalp. It's the perfect day. I'm Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I snap my fingers. My hair is beautifully curly and will stay that way for 12 hours while I sleep. I get in bed, watch a couple episodes of something that I'm loving, maybe something new. I don't want to rewatch New Girl. I don't want to rewatch Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Keep me on my toes a little bit. I don't know what that is because the series hasn't existed yet. I am trying to write it myself. I haven't seen something recently that I fucking love. Like a Girl. girls, like a Sex in the City, like something that's easy, female friendship, exploring the city, just having the best time. That's what I want. I watch an episode, maybe episode and a half. I turn it off. I don't fall asleep to it. I turn it off myself. I make a choice. I am getting sleepy. I don't have to take magnesium. I don't have to take melatonin. I am falling asleep naturally of my own accord at a real normal time. 10:30, maybe 11:30. 10:30 feels like it's the time for virgins to go to sleep. It's 11:30. I slowly drift off. I don't pee. I'm not thirsty. I'm in a great mood. I slowly fall asleep and I don't wake up for 10 hours. And if that isn't the perfect day, and yeah, did I interact with anyone? Just the girl at the shop. Just the thin woman next to me. Just the man selling me the ticket at the shop. The man giving me my large popcorn, which is perfectly buttered, by the way. Here in the UK, they do salt. In America, they do butter. In Australia, we do a kind of combo. Hate to say it, Australia, superior popcorn. We're not talking about that at all. I think I maybe have told that to too many people at this point. To me, that is the perfect day. Yes, I could aim for a lot more, go on a private jet, fly to an amazing country, la, 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 la. I did kind of jump around because how many places do you know have cobblestone streets and an Italian man making pizza? So in my dream, I am in numerous places. Perhaps I started in Paris with the Eiffel Tower. In the morning, I woke up, had my fresh fluffy eggs and made my way. It's a perfect day. It doesn't need to be explained. Freaky Friday isn't explained. The science is not there. It's just some weird psychic in the corner telling them their lives have crossed paths. Now, do I believe in psychics? That's something we don't have the battery for. I have gone to psychics before. I do need to go to another one again. I am coming up to my annual checkup. I have, much like old 60-year-old men who get a finger up the ass once a year, I get a finger in my chakra from a woman who is usually white, used to work in PR, and has a very normal white woman name. And if that is my culture, I can't help you with that. That is just how it is. Anyway, we've had our ups and downs. The battery dying took the wind out of my sails, despite the fact that I don't like sailing. But I want to say, I think my shortlist, do I need to make an executive decision about who I'd Freaky Friday with? I don't know. There's so many people. Maybe someone who's like really, really hot to just see how people react to that. Like I'm talking like 6'7", jacked like a basketball player, but like a model basketball player. Curious about that. Maybe someone who could dunk. That must feel like flying. Maybe someone who just has a pool in their backyard. Sometimes you just want a body switch with someone who's just got a little more than you. A pool, a spa, cabana, maybe I have some cocktails, something with mango flavored, like a mango lassi with ice in it. Maybe just someone, I don't know. I shouldn't be picking someone who's richer than me because I'm supposed to have better understanding and more patience, I think is the message of the film. So I got to pick someone who I don't understand. If I really have to go for it, I have to buddy switch with my mom or my dad or something like that. But who wants to do that? I mean, that's the whole thing. She doesn't want a body switch. She gets into the mom's body and she's like, what the fuck? So really, I think this is me just picking who I want to body switch with. That's not how the world works. No, that's not how science works. Science will put me where I need to be. So if I come here next week and I say, oh my God, this week I body switched with someone, you best believe me, bitch. Because who lies about that? You seem crazy. I already seem crazy. My Botox is wearing off betwixt my eyes. I don't know if you can see some more movement if you watch this. Anyway, I best go because this beeping is going to make me fucking crazy to the point where I do believe that I body switch, but maybe with the beep sound. I become the beep sound to understand the beep sound. I hope you can't hear the beep sound this entire episode. I have tried to talk so there's no dead air. I want to say thank you. I want to say I'll see you later. I want to say season's greetings, blessings. I will see you later. I don't know. I've got to go.